Okay, YouTube. You say that it's too long of a video to go ahead and process. What will it take? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all you so-called liberalized media, internet, people who realize or try to realize the importance of people. Now let's take this into perspective and put it on a level where even you understand. There are people, and then there's we people. And what I mean by we people, I mean wealthy, rich-ass, eccentric, selfish, pompous, self-fulfilled assholes. Like those in corporate America, Fortune 500. People like the Romneys, the Ryans, the Trumps, Koch brothers, Wall Street, big banking industry. The 1% who actually, in all intents and purposes, whether people will admit it or not, and we have been engraved with the mentality, the trickle-down theory, even in its essence. And understand this. It wasn't so. For the people, by the people was the biggest lie ever told in history, because it wasn't about the people. It was about the rich, aristocratic, wealthy, closed-minded, bigoted, racist morons who so-called founded this country, along with the colonists and their racist hatred as well of people of color. And I ain't talking about just black people. I'm talking about all people of color. The Chinese who worked on the railroads, the black people who were slaves, the Indians who first possessed this land and were genocide because of the colonists and the so-called explorers who said they founded this country. It's not about politics. That's not my issue today. My issue today is about MS. And the reason why I brought this up in the beginning, because it is a political issue. And everything that we're surrounded in this jaded, closed-minded, bigoted, racist, stereotypical, labeled society, confined in that little proverbial box called separatism. And separatism is rich from working class and poor. And to define it even closer, from black men to white women to elderly people to disabled people. And let's get this right. They think it's so personified because you try to have this little intellectual mind screwing about economical experts and political experts and law experts. What it all is a bunch of cesspool, corrupted political shit. And it may not be nice because guess what? It's not nice. You have a bunch of political dinosaurs, crusty-ass old white men on Capitol Hill who doesn't have a clue how to run a country. And let's not get into the fact and saying that I'm a racist. Because guess what? If you look online and see my Facebook, I'm in a relationship with a white woman. My kids are biracial. I was married to a white woman. And that, in fact, that has nothing to do with anything. The fact that I'm here today is to employ and even enlighten people to understand how political bullcrap affects our everyday life. I'm not talking about working. I'm not talking about eating. I'm not talking about survival. I'm talking about being sick. And this proverbial Obamacare supposed to be the messiah of middle class and poor people, guess what? Think about this one thing, MS. Lay aside for a moment cancer, diabetes, AIDS. Talk about MS. I had a sister who died of MS only because she grew up in an era back in 1977 that didn't have even a degree of knowledge and research they have today on multiple sclerosis. She died because of the lack thereof, the knowledge of MS. As right now, I'm ignorant, as most of you out there are ignorant to the fact about MS. We see celebrities like Montel Williams or Ann Romney. Okay? It's the only time we ever pay attention to anything. It has to be a celebrity or some egotistical ass out there who happens to contract a disease. It's not poor class, working class people. Who gives a hell about them? They can die by the thousands and nobody gives a shit. One celebrity dies, or some political official, then it becomes a problem. And I won't make this long, YouTube, so you don't have to process this video. I have a daughter, her name is Leah Shockley, who contracted MS. Beautiful little girl, grew up in Chicago. And I pretty much give the information I gave on the other video that they didn't process because it was too long. She's a very intellectual, smart, open heart, open mind person. Her idea is to go out into journalism and change society as we know, to change the world as we know it. Like her dad, but I do it in an entirely different manner. Call me radical, call me whatever you want to be, but that's who I am. She's who she is. She has this disease. And I posted on Facebook the medicine that they're processing right now. Just big conglomerate pharmaceutical companies that she can't afford. If this was your child, your mother, your brother, your sister, your uncle, someone dear to your heart, what would you do? What length would you go to make sure that they had affordable medicine to keep them alive and lessen their suffering and pain they have to deal with every day? Their relapses of MS, multiple sclerosis, is horrendous. The pain. I saw my sister die of cancer. The pain. I saw my mom die of cancer. The pain. The enduring. Anybody who had an experience of and losing someone to a disease. The mind, the heart is affected deeply. And it's left an everlasting impression on your heart and soul and mind. And to see this thing repeat in your child, call it hereditary, call it whatever you want to. It's bothersome. I won't go into the deep politics like I did before because this is about my daughter. And I have to forget about my personal views. This is about her. She doesn't deserve, because she didn't ask to come into this world. She was brought into this world by me and my ex-wife. I'm asking someone out there, if you have a heart, if you have a loved one who is sick, if you know of someone who has MS, someone who's dying or losing their life because they can't afford the medicine, like celebrities and the wealthy and the rich ass people and the president who can afford all these medicines, new discoveries that we can't afford, being taxpayers in the middle class and the poor and the working class. How is it in the richest country in the world, a disabled man like myself who can't afford to help his daughter, are denied medicine because it's overpriced. But yet and still, the FDA, Department of Agriculture, pharmaceutical companies are making billions. But they can't afford to make medicine to help working class people to survive MS. Montel Williams is a good guy. Don't get me wrong. He has a foundation for MS. The Mayo Clinic. A lot of websites out there who say they give assistance. But do you know the cost of the medical care of MS? It runs at $50,000 plus. Who can afford that? Can you? Can me? Any other person out there who's a working class or middle class person can deal with an expense of $50,000 plus to survive? It's ridiculous. Astronomically, idiotically ridiculous. I'll do what I have to help my daughter. Even if it takes leaving this country and talking to someone else who's more of a humanitarian than these egotistical, self-fulfilled assholes in this country. I love my country. I believe in my country. And I believe that there are certain people in place who can make changes. Unfortunately, it's not the bureaucracy and red tape of the bullshit that sits on Capitol Hill and in the White House. Because in all intents and purposes, it's operated, maintained by the rich and wealthy of this world. Those I spoke of earlier. Leah, I love you with all my heart. And I made this video for you because you're a beautiful baby girl who deserves the best. You deserve the same attention and medicine that the president gets. That the same wealthy ass people get, like the Romneys, the Koch brothers, Mundell Washington, all the other celebrities out there who have the money, the excess of money that we don't have. But Daddy's going to work endlessly, relentlessly to try to find answers, trying to find the resources and financial help to get you the medicine that you need, because I love you. And it's not just about Leah, it's about every child out here, man, woman, and child, who are suffering from MS. And if we are the humanitarians, we talk about all these speeches at the conventions, Republican and Democratic alike, all these heartfelt speeches that transcends into bullshit. Because when it comes down to it, right down to it, on ground level, on person to person, man to man, humano humano, what the hell are you going to do, really? The same shit you did for decades, for centuries. Nothing for the working class and the middle class people. Only the rich. But as for me, if I come and search and ask for medicine for my daughter, don't stand in my way. Because you will definitely see the diary of a mad black man. And you don't want to be in that position. So America, this is about reality. I'm out.